Since 2020, passing yards per game, Justin Herbert second with 277. Pass attempts per game, second, 39. Passing touchdowns, 114. That's fourth. But look at the hits that were taken. Third, 382 hits. That's too many hits. This is the reason why I love having Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman there. I think people going crazy thinking that that's going to slow Justin Herbert down. What do we do with Justin Herbert? No. They bring in all these running backs. Oh, Greg Roman, all he wanted to do is run. But every time you see highlights and they're showing you footage from the OTAs, you see in Justin Herbert throwing bombs. You haven't really seen the running backs running at all. But I'm going to say, now that they don't have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and there's a huge shift in the philosophy with regards to what the identity is going to be with this team now. So as this offense continues to evolve, and there's a big emphasis on running the ball, which is a big topic of conversation based on the personnel they brought in from Baltimore. And you got Greg Roman there, so we know it's going to start up front for this Chargers team. And I believe the running game, if successful, is going to set the tone more so than Herbert earlier in the season. Running the football will ultimately protect Herbert from all those unnecessary hits, keep him out of third and long situations, which should lead to a much better and productive Justin Herbert, because we know he's special. Now he got 4 years of experience under his belt. He's a veteran quarterback with a really, really great head coach that has not just played in this league, but it's an incredible motivator. Brandon Staley was the model of inconsistency. Everybody knows how I feel about that. He was just so up and down, just wasn't consistent enough. But Jim Harbaugh, every week you're going to get consistency from him every week. And I think Harbaugh is right at the top of the list of these coaches who will have the quickest level of impact in terms of turning the organization around immediately. Why? Because we've seen him do it so often throughout his career. Now, there's one thing that bothers me, and I've always said it because it's been a thorn in the Chargers' sides for a couple of decades now. And it's about the health of J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, of course, because of the track record they had with Baltimore. So being able to stay healthy is the key to success for this team. You won't see the same mistakes made by the coaching staff that we saw in L.A. over the last few years under Brandon Staley. You're going to see a lot more consistency, and I think that's going to help this team win a lot of games. And it's going to help propel Justin Herbert into that conversation when they talk about the Mahomes and they talk about the Josh Allens and the Lamar Jacksons. You'll be able to put them in because Harbaugh has to get him to the point where you're not only winning more games, you're winning games when it matter in December, and you're playing in a tournament in January. And that's what will propel him into that next level. What you guys think about that?
I have a counterpoint to this. And I first of all, I agree. I think that running the ball, taking the pressure off of Herbert allows him, and plus that's going to suck the defense up. You're going to get players that can, go over the top of the defense. We all know how it works. FanDuel shared something yesterday, and I just wanted to, it's an average scoring defense rank for quarterbacks that have started. You have Tom Brady that had the first average scoring defense. Lamar Jackson had the first. Josh Allen had second. Ben Roethlisberger, second. Patrick Mahomes, 7th. Aaron Rodgers, 8th. Joe Burrow, 14th. Justin Herbert, 28th.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep. So I'm just, as much as we're focused on the offense, Jesse Minter in this defense, if we can just get to average, that's swinging 3-4 games in our favor. We know how to stay in games. We very rarely get blown out, minus another Raiders game that we have to talk about. But I just, it's one of those. If we are cohesive as a unit, if our offense can run the ball, sustain drives, and we put up points, if our defense can get those stops, our special teams is our special teams. I think that's the one unit I'm just not even skeptical about. But if our defense can get up to average, if we get top 10, that's just crazy. But if we're average defense, we're winning more games, and we're losing in that moment.
Really quick, this is true, but the reason why I put so much emphasis on the running game, because when you're just going 1, 2, 3 and out constantly.
Yeah.
How is your defense going to be effective when they're on the field all the time?
Valid.
You do those long methodical drives that we've seen the Baltimore Ravens do so many times, and the other team is your defense is sitting on the sideline for 6.5 minutes. That's how you keep those guys fresh and they can play at their best and at a high level. So although I totally agree, that the defense needs to be better. I think it will be better, and it'll be great if we have a better than average defense. But what good will it do if you can't sustain drives and run the ball? So that's why.
That's fair. What you think, Kyle?
We often
wing it, Kyle. Come on, wing it. I can tell by the look on the face. Go ahead, wing it.
No, I'm just trying to watch my words here. I don't. We used to what would we call it? Kind of like reconstructing the run game, or we were using Eckler in those ineffective screen passes before as a way to try to gain back what we should have been able to do by just pounding the football. And that increased, Herbert's attempts a lot and those little passes out of the backfield. And there was just, I miss the days of, we knew that Tyrell Williams had a certain skill set. He could take a drag route and, get the ball from Phillip, on the run. And he was great at turning that thing upfield and getting some good yak with his speed.
Yeah.
I just felt like we just kept trying to shove a bunch of square pegs in round holes last year, and nothing really made sense to me. You guys have talked about it, about Quentin Johnson's usage last year. And I always thought that Darius Davis should have been given more unique, creative opportunities. You watch how McDaniel, gets Tyreek Hill the ball, and it's all stuff that really maximizes his skill set. And I just really hope that this year, and I fully believe we do, we see more of that. There's more creativity. There's more building our skill set positions around their strengths, especially now that we don't have guys that are good at every single thing a wide receiver can do, like Keenan Allen is, even though he's amazing at everything. The only thing he lacked was that real ability to take the top off somebody. Yeah, right. But now we've got guys. It's like, okay, no, this is what Ladd's skill set is. Let's try to keep him in this box the best we can, at least for the first year or two. Same thing with Johnson. Same thing with Rice. And then in terms of, running the ball like you're talking about, Stacey, absolutely. It's with identity is, I think, what we want to focus on is, and that's just like what we're talking about with those role-playing players, role-playing receivers. When we run the ball, we want to do it with identity. We don't want to be recreating it with short screen passes to Eckler. We want to do it in a way, because what happens with that? A lot of times, sure, the offensive line might be rolling out, but there's not that same, no, we're going to take your defensive line and we're going to push it back 3 yards. When you're doing that, it's a mentality thing. We want our linemen to be going downhill, smacking them in the mouth, and then standing over them and saying, are you ready to go in 30 seconds? Because we're going to do that again. And we're going to move you back again and again and again. Yeah. That's what I want to see. Yes, and then when we are third and short, what does that set us up for? A play action, going deep, putting Herbert in a position to be delivering final blows. Before, he was jabbing, he was hooking, he was doing everything.
Yeah.
What if our running game was just able to jab, and then Herbert was coming in and was able to throw a haymaker? That's what I want to see with this offense.
Yeah.